You'll get a message that you need to accept that. Okay, everyone. I'm here with Christine Mays, and we will have a presentation about the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. Yeah, let's go. This is really helpful in terms of up-leveling your love relationship. We will talk about how you can apply it to different areas of your life as well, but primarily with the focus of improving your current love relationship. Even if you are single and looking, or single but not looking, even then, I would say you could benefit from this because it's so applicable to so many different situations. And like parenting, it can be with your friends, it can be just understanding how we prefer to show and receive appreciation, for instance, in the workplace. So it has a lot of different levels of application. Myself, personally, I've been applying it like first time I read the book, maybe 5 years ago. So I've had some experience in using it in a past relationship. And there is a woman I'm dating right now. We're almost together. I mean, we have a distance thing we need to figure out first, but we'll see how that goes. And it's really interesting to see how we can apply these principles in those types of relationships. Yes, Christine, do you want to say something about yourself?
Yeah, I use the knowledge about the love language, I guess, for 3 or 4 years. And also in the previous relationship that was quite toxic. And it helped me so much to get clear what I need and to also improve the relationship with myself. Because in toxic relationship, it's really, really hard to stay loving with yourself because you just destroy yourself over and over again when you are in a relationship like this. And when you have the knowledge about your love language, you can love yourself better and you can support yourself until you get to the point where it's so obvious that you can't stay in this relationship any longer. So discovering the love language was the one of the key elements to get out of this toxic relationship, because I figured out, okay, that's what I need. This is who I am. That's what my love language is, and my ex-partner isn't willing to love me or willing to give me this unconditional love in ways that it can receive my emotional body, so yeah, it's great knowledge, not only for relationship with the outer world or with other people in any kind, but for the relationship with yourself. And yeah, right now I'm in the most amazing relationship I could ever dream of. I manifested this, and I didn't know that this man was already in my life for, yeah, now 11 years. So we were best friends, and we got together over 2 years now. Yeah, and it's just insanely beautiful every day, every moment, because we are speaking the same love language. So our love tank is full and it's overflowing, and we have so much to give because we know how to give that to ourselves, and then we are able to give it to each other. So yeah, great knowledge. Let's start, I would say.
Yeah, feel free to share your current relationship status if you want in the chat. That would be nice to know. And I would say as well, like, you will learn about the 5 different love languages, which are, when you take a test, you can see how high your percentage is on each of them. And that will speak to how and in what ways you prefer to not just give love, but also receive love. And we will talk about a love tank. It's a tank that represents how loved you feel. And if we think of this in terms of your relationship, there are certain ways your partner can fill up your tank. And there are also certain things that your partner can do that will empty the tank over time, just by being neglectful even, or doing the things that will be things that would be bad in terms of the love relationship. Let's take an example. If your partner has quality time as their main love language and you're sitting on your phone all the time when you're with them, that would be a really bad thing to them. But if their love relationship was, if they had a low percentage on quality time, they would probably not feel that in a very personal way. Okay, so many things to keep in mind here. And we're gonna definitely go in for finding some action steps we can take. Maybe we can integrate it into the 12 sacred choices. Find one habit that you can apply to your life to consistently keep your partner's love tank full. So learning about the 5 love languages, which love languages do you have? So we want to find your main love language first and foremost, and also begin to think about your partner's main love language. Hopefully you figure this out by the end of this call, but there are also tests you can do online. I will link to them. You will find the links in the PowerPoint. And we will also show you examples of how the results come out. And yeah, maybe we get the time to talk a little bit about how this applies to other areas of life as well. And just date ideas as well. That's one slide as well we're gonna go through. Yeah, I see you writing some of your, yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, yeah, good stuff. I think I'm just gonna start sharing my screen, and you will come to see the presentation. Here you go. Just give it a second. Can you see my screen? Oh, maybe you can see it now. Okay, good. Just need to give it a moment. I like this. This is a nice picture. Quite similar to the picture on here. They're rocking on a beach, really happy together. Paints the picture really well. We want to go in for up-leveling our love relationship category, whatever the status you're in right now, through discovering yours and your partner's love language. What are the 5 love languages? They're not like in a particular order, like one is better than the other or anything like that. That doesn't have anything to say. But words of affirmation is one of them. Physical touch is another. Receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. And like we said, these are ways that we can express love, and also ways we prefer to receive love. I can just give a quick example, like my dad, for instance. He's very high on acts of service. When I do the test, I score pretty low on acts of service. So his way of showing appreciation and his support to me is usually through doing things for me. But for me, that wouldn't be the best way to like make me feel appreciated or supported. But of course, it's good for me to open that channel to be like, hey, this is his way of expressing his love and appreciation for me, right? So it's applicable to more than just a love relationship. But just to give a quick overview of the 5 words of affirmation: encourage, affirm, so how to communicate, encourage, affirm, appreciate, empathize, listen actively, and actions to take, send an unexpected note, text, or card, genuinely encourage, and often. So this would be encouraging words. Support them, show that you support, and give them compliments, genuine compliments. And then the opposite would be hurtful words, obviously. Maybe if someone has really low on words of affirmation, they could say mean things and not think too much about it. But if the partner is high on that, that could be very hurtful, right? Physical touch, not just about sex. This is not just like some people are like, oh, so they're like all about sex, right? No, it's more than that, right? It's about physical closeness. It's about having that intimacy. It's about touching. Like a massage can be a really amazing experience for someone with physical touch. High on the list here. So non-verbal, use body language and touch to express love. Hugs is amazing. Yeah, hug, kiss, hold hands, show physical affection often, make intimacy a thoughtful priority. Usually they love like long sessions of foreplay. This can be amazing if you know that this person is high on physical touch. And like I said, massages. And if you're together, just like holding hands, or maybe you're sitting at a date and your feet are touching, this can be really good for someone who enjoys physical touch. Receiving gifts, thoughtfulness, make your spouse a priority, speak purposefully. Actions to take, give thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift, also important. You want to make it often. Like, don't just think like, oh, I'm gonna buy a big gift for my partner on their birthday and at Christmas, and then you're good. No, it doesn't really work like that. You want to be consistent with it. Be consistent with it. Very important. And small things, like thoughtful things, things that are personal. Maybe they mentioned something a long time ago, and now you give them a gift later that show that you remembered what they said. That can be really good. Quality time, uninterrupted and focused conversations. One-on-one time is critical. Create special moments together. Take walks and do small things with your partner. Weekend getaways are huge. So being present with your partner, really big here. Sitting on your phone, like I said, that's bad. That's really bad in this love language. Acts of service, use action phrases like I'll help. They want to know you're with them and partnered with them. So you help them out whenever they need help, do chores together or make them breakfast in bed, go out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload. It could be like, I want to show that I appreciate you, so I'm going to do the chores today. Like, you had a long day at work, let me do the dishes today, for instance. Christine, do you want to add?
All of the actions to take are amazing ways in a relationship to show each other that you love this person, right? But it's so amazing to just reflect how in our relationship it's just figured out itself. So we didn't focus that we need more quality time, or we didn't focus that we prefer words of affirmation. But when I reflect our relationship, it's just how we love. And it's so easy because we love in the same way, we speak the same language. And so gifts are not a part of our relationship, actually. So we give each other presents for maybe Christmas or birthday, but not like this single things in the everyday life. But it's so important to reflect what feels good for you without a test, without a lot of questions, just reading these things and feeling like, oh yeah, when someone hugs me, how do I feel? Or for Eric and me, it's when we go to bed, our ritual is to say each other, thank you, baby, for this amazing day, and I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. And we say that each and every night, and this is such a great ritual that it's not focused because we speak that kind of language. It's just because we speak it, so it's not a 100% conscious thing. A lot of happens unconsciously when you are with your partner, and it's really really helpful to understand what is going on because so many things are just happen unconsciously.
Yes, that's really good. Bring awareness into this, bring a high level of awareness. And me and Christine, when we were preparing for this, we were talking about how sometimes one partner is expressing a lot of love, but it's not the love language of the partner, and it's just going over their head. It's not their preferred way of feeling loved. So you want to think about, and this is after you understand your own love language, that you can use that insight to guide your partner into loving you in a better way and filling your love tank in a better way. And I was actually thinking before this session, could it be a bad thing to give too much? Like, could that ever be a bad thing? And it's very few situations where that would actually be a thing that would not be constructive to the relationship. So just really being focused on filling your partner's love tank is so key here. And many relationship problems come from one or both partners' love tanks being low or empty. So if you get this part handled in the relationship, there's not going to be a lot of issues besides like if you're too different to make it work or anything like that. I had another one here. We can just go quickly through like things to avoid. There'll be like the bad side of them. If someone is high on words of affirmation, not recognizing or appreciating effort, physical touch, that would be like physical neglect or abuse. There's obviously touches that could be uncomfortable or bad for the other person. Receiving gifts, unenthusiastic gift giving, forgetting special occasions, that would be really bad. Quality time, distracting when spending time together, distractions when spending time together, long time without one-on-one time, acts of service lacking follow through on small and large tasks. That can be you make these promises and then you don't follow through. That could be hurtful. And the quality time, let's say you're out with your partner and you know people, but I hear myself a little bit through you, Christine, maybe, by the way. So in case you have some earphones, that's good. And quality time, like let's say you're out with your partner and you have all these people coming up to you. Now, if you're like losing your attention on your partner all the time, that's communicating to them that they're not important to you. So these are things to keep in mind when you come to understand your own and your partner's love language. Where can you meet, and where do you need to meet in the middle, so to speak, so that you can still communicate love in a way that you both get a good return on it, if that makes sense. So me and Rob, I was actually going to have someone named Rob on here, and he brought up this concept of return on investment. I mean, if you understand it right, it's a really good thing to mention, in that you might, let's say your partner is low on receiving gifts and high on physical touch, and you're giving them gifts all the time and then not giving them hugs every time you meet them again, every time you see them after work, for instance. You would get much more out of filling their love tank by giving them that hug than giving them all these gifts. That's not to say that you should stop giving them gifts, but these are things to keep in mind. How, in what ways, like when does your partner respond the most? This is what you want to keep an eye out for. The best thing is to have them do the test. Then you will know for sure. I think that's the next one. Yeah, this is actually my results when I do the test. By the way, there's a link, like I said, at the end of this presentation. I may post it on the event page as well. So that could be a thing. And you see, I'm pretty high on physical touch. So I really like those kind of cuddly things, like you have that physical proximity and quality time, that we're present with each other. Words of affirmation, I would say these should be a little bit closer. That words of affirmation should be a little higher and quality time a little bit lower, but it's pretty accurate, I would say. Words of affirmation, if someone is encouraging me and giving me support, giving me compliments, I could feel loved in a good way from that. Receiving gifts and acts of service, pretty low. So for instance, my mom is really high on gift giving, but I don't necessarily feel so much with that. So there again, I could be like better at letting myself feel that she's actually appreciating me by giving me gifts. So my partner right now, we are pretty close on this. So that's a good thing. Sometimes you have a partner who isn't the same on this, and then you might need to learn a different love language, kind of like learning a new language, but not as hard as like learning Spanish. If you don't know Spanish, right? It's not that hard, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. Do you want to share, Christine? Your scores were pretty similar as well, right?
Yeah, actually, pretty similar to yours, and Eric has the same results than me. So this is amazing because we didn't need to learn another language. but I love the examples of your parents, that your mom is more in the gift giving kind of language and your dad more in the acts of service, because our parent generation, for them it's way harder to show love in this open way, like just telling you, son, I'm proud of you, I love you unconditionally for who you are. So that's something our parents are not good at, because they didn't learn it in their generation and from their parents. So we are, I guess, the first generation who's really able to be so open when it comes to love languages, and to show our heart and to share our love with another person without being scared, you know? So love isn't about I give that to you, but just when you give it back. So this is love, and it's working, but it's not lasting. When you give unconditionally, so I love the example when your partner is coming home and he loves a hug. Just give it. So it's not hurting you. It's not taking anything from you. It's just, all right, my partner loves to be hugged, and I love him to feel loved by me. So I do it, and I feel loved as well, because I feel this kind of love energy when we hug. And you can give this gift, and acts of service are also a great way when that's your love language. But to, yeah, you go out of the mindset, oh, I do this, but just when you do this, in kind of love language, not a good way to be in a really, really great relationship. Just feel it, just let it overflow, and just, yeah, communicate on the same kind of frequency, so you can grow and evolve in this love kind of energy, you know? That's really, really powerful. Not only in the love relationship, also with your parents, because when your parents are not able to tell you, I love you, son, then it's hard, because we need to feel loved by our parents, or don't know, by any kind of family member. But when you know, okay, there is another way of showing love, and all right, that's their way of showing me that they love me. Not my kind of way, but I can work with that. I understand them now. So really to know.
Yeah, and there was a comment coming on here from Claudia. Receiving gifts can be perceived as materialistic and misjudged. So and this can be a thing if you don't understand the other love languages. Maybe you think, oh, but they're just trying to buy my love, for instance. But it's really their way of expressing love, and we need to just understand that that's their preferred way of expressing love. And of course, we want to as well guide them to express love to us in the ways that we prefer and would feel the most loved by. I think love tank is the next one, or let me see, maybe it's oh yeah, it's going deeper on each one of them. I think I just have to move this up a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the love tank one first to give a visual on that, because this is a really good thing to have in your mind as you will begin applying this to the situation you're in your love relationship category, where you think of it as there are things you can do that will fill your partner's love tank, and there are, in this context, things that will give you a high return on investment. And those are the things you want to do on a consistent basis. Of course, you can go deeper and do things that are within the other love languages as well. That can be a really wholesome experience for both of you if you learn some of the new love languages as well. And then, of course, there are things that would empty your partner's love tank. Really good to keep in mind. And entropy is so relevant right here. Entropy will empty the tank over time. If you do nothing, it will just empty itself out slowly and steadily. So this is something you need to do consistently to keep it, to keep the maintenance. It's kind of like a maintenance job. Yeah, there's some examples here. Unnoticed efforts, personal attacks, withdrawing, conflict, broken trust, lack of affection. Some of these will be more profound for someone who has these specific love languages. Like, let's say if someone pushes you away, that could be really bad for someone with physical touch. Like if that's a response they have when you're in an argument, or if someone says something really hurtful, that can be really bad if someone is high on words of affirmation. And of course, the other way as well, filling the tank. You show emotional support, understanding, affection, reassurance, together time. When you can begin to think, okay, where is my love tank right now? How full is it right now? Begin to think about that, and begin to think about your partner's love tank. How full is your partner's love tank on a scale from 0 to 10? If it's at a, let's say if it's at a 6 out of 10, you want to think, okay, how can I make it a 7 out of 10? How can I begin to fill it more and more? What kind of things would actually fill up my partner's love tank? We can go a little bit deeper here, just read through these kind of quick. Physical touch, it isn't all about the bedroom, I said that. They are usually very touchy. Hugs, pats on the back, holding hands, and thoughtful touches on the arm, shoulder, or face. They can all be ways to show excitement, concern, care, and love. Physical presence and accessibility. I can see if I can move this a little bit further up. Accessibility are crucial, while neglect or abuse can be unforgivable and destructive. Physical touch fosters a sense of security and belonging in any relationship. So being close, very important. Hugs, kisses, quality time, that you're present with the partner, so key. Nothing says I love you like full undivided attention. You're with your partner, present with your partner. You put your phones away, like do a date where you put your phones away. This is amazing. Genius idea. Being there for this type of person is crucial, but not really being there with the TV off. Yeah, but really being there. I mean, with the TV off, fork and knife down, and all chores and tasks on standby makes your significant other feel truly special and loved. And here we have distractions, postponed dates, or the failure to listen can be especially hurtful. Quality time also means sharing quality conversation and quality activities, having amazing experiences together. And becoming a better listener can be a really good thing here, that you actually listen to your partner. This can be a really, an easy way to do this would be to just reply back some of the words that your partner is saying, like find 3 key words that sums up what your partner was saying. And then you say that back to them to show that you were actually listening. Words of affirmation. Action don't always speak louder than words. If this is your love language, unsolicited compliments mean the world to you. Hearing the words, I love you, are important. Hearing the reasons behind that love sends your spirit skyward. Insults can leave you shattered and not easily forgotten, and are not easily forgotten. Kind, encouraging, and positive words are truly life-giving. Like write a card where you write what you appreciate about your partner. This is brilliant, really brilliant thing to do if this is the case. And just give those compliments, show support, encourage them to follow their dreams, tell them you believe in them. You know, these are the things that you can really do to hit it home in this category, in this love language. I mean, receiving gifts. Don't mistake this love language for materialism. The receiver of gifts thrives on the love, thoughtfulness, and effort behind the gift. Like make it personal. Doesn't have to be expensive. Really important to note. If you speak this language, the perfect gift or gesture shows that you are known, you are cared for, and you are prized above whatever was sacrificed to bring that gift to you. A missed birthday, anniversary, or a hasty, thoughtless gift would be disastrous. So would the absence of everyday gestures. Gifts are visual representations of love that are treasured greatly. It can be something that they can keep with them and have it as a reminder of you when they're going away for the weekend, as something personal, something that showed that you had to put some thought into it. Like it was thoughtful, it was meant for them. And just make their heart sing, really. That's the important thing here. Yes, acts of service. Last one, going a little bit deeper. Can vacuuming the floors really be an expression of love? Absolutely. Anything you do to ease the burden of responsibilities weighing on an acts of service person will speak volumes. The words he or she most want to hear, let me do that for you. Laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them tell speakers of this language their feelings don't matter. Finding ways to serve speaks volumes to the recipient of these acts. Maybe making dinner one day, maybe doing the chores one day, maybe, doing some work around the house, something that they actually had the responsibility of doing, or something that they usually do. Maybe you can do that for them this day. They would really appreciate that. Do you want to add something, Christine?
Yeah, I can.
Sorry, you were just blurring a little bit when I heard you.
Can we go back to the love tank again? I love
Yeah, let's go to the love tank. This one.
and it's very, very important to have in mind that it's great to have a relationship that fills up your love tank, but it's your responsibility to do that first. So when your partner is supporting you emotionally and is fully understanding and lots of words of affirmation, but you don't love yourself and you don't fill up your tank with words of affirmation, with quality time, with acts of service, with giving yourself gifts, with all the things that you want a partner, give it yourself first. Because when you don't do that, you give all the responsibility for filling up your love tank to another person. And that's not a good idea because when your partner is in a situation where he or she isn't at its best, so we all have these phases in life where we are not in our highest version, where we have problems or stress, and when that's the only source of love, then your tank is really, really going down in a great relationship. So this is for me one of the main learnings, to start speaking with myself in these 5 languages and to start filling my love tank. So when my partner is speaking in this love language, I can hear him. So when my partner told me in my last relationship, I love you and you are great and I'm proud of you, but I didn't believe it on the unconscious part of myself, then it's like, all right, yeah, you say things like that, but you don't really mean it because I don't believe it. So how could you think that? So your job is to love yourself and to fill up your tank. That's the basis of starting a relationship where you can give, because you don't hug another person to get a hug back. You hug because you're overflowing of love. You are not, you're not, don't need it. Love is not about I need you to love me. Love is about I love myself so much and I love you just for being you, that I'm overflowing. And that changes the whole vibration of this topic, or changed it for me, because it was not like, okay, I have to do that. Okay, then he's doing that. Okay, and then we can keep up score in our love tank. Yeah, but when one partner is going in a transition phase and in a personal crisis, maybe, then you need to be able to fill up your own tank. And that's always, always, always the first step in everything that we're doing in life. Because our outer experience is just a reflection of our inner wisdom, of our inner knowing. And most part of this inner knowing is unconsciously. So start by working with your beliefs. Why you don't with your partner when he's talking about how proud he is, or how great you are, how smart, how beautiful. When you can take that 100%, amazing. But when there is like this tiny little voice that speaks to you like, hey, I don't think that's right. Maybe he just didn't see me how I really am, because then he would know that I'm not that great, you know? So, step one, take responsibility for your own tank. Step two, look that you fill it together.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. It reminds me how important it is with your beliefs and where you're coming from. I was thinking about this before this call as well. Just when you go into this, you're not doing it with a hidden agenda. You're not doing it with this these strings attached, like you're trying to get something out of it. But it is natural, however, when you fill up your partner's love tank, that they will want, like it's going to spill over to yours in ways. So that's really good for sure. But you're not doing it because you're coming from this place of lack. You know, you want to structure your life in such a way, and we're all life bookers here. We're all life bookers. We're very conscious about the way we're structuring our lives and our days on a day-to-day basis. Like we want to have friends who make us feel appreciated and supported. We want to have friends that we can talk about the things we want to talk about. And you don't want to just have like your partner is responsible for filling all of these needs and you have no one else that could help you out with having amazing experiences with, or, you know. And also, like Christine says, doing it for yourself. You can do these things for yourself. Like you can buy yourself a gift. You can block off time to be with yourself and do some things you love to do. Physical touch, maybe, I don't know, like you could have some kind of a self, yeah, hug yourself, self massage somehow, do a bath. Those things are amazing. Yeah. And just think about that. That's a good thing to keep in mind when you're moving into this, to keep your and your partner's love tank full. What was the next slide? Oh yeah, just some date ideas. You can take it or leave it. This is just a fun one I thought I'd put in there. You can read through them. I don't necessarily have to like read through all of them. A funny thing, if you have some more ideas, you can write it in the chat. That would be fun to hear. These are a bit more like this language specific. Maybe some of them are like as with category interconnectivity, there could be like a love language interconnectivity. Like let's say you're in a jacuzzi with your partner. Now you get quality time and physical touch, two for the price of one. And maybe you're sitting there and you're like telling each other how much you love each other and appreciate each other. Now you get three for the price of one. So some things to think about. Receiving gifts, this one was a bit funny. I also asked some people what they would think would be some good date ideas for the different ones. Scavenger gift hunt. That must be fun. Tickets to their favorite show, awesome experience, flowers delivery. You can get creative with this. Really, like really get creative with this. You're gonna have so much fun. I appreciate you for words of affirmation on a date. Dress up for each other, you know, showering compliments. Exchange love letters where you write down what you love about each other. Quality time, leave your phones at home. You can find all these 20 questions things online where you have 20 different questions you can ask each other. And I promise you, you will get to know things about your partner that you didn't even know, even if you've been together for so long. Hike, explore new area, travel together, like bike trips are so romantic. Oh my gosh. Concert, amusement park, yeah. Physical touch, like sex with long foreplay, you want to put like a lot of time into that if you both are high on physical touch. Workout for couples, jacuzzi, dancing together, yeah. Acts of service, like make dinner, watch their clothes. Do DIY project to make something meaningful for each other, That one was an interesting one I found online. What was the next one? Yeah, you and your partner's love languages. This is more like a writing exercise. So to engage you a bit more, that you can answer these questions. But doing the test is also a really good way to discover these. But if you don't write it down, that's okay. Or if you don't want to like share in the chat, you can also take a picture and then just write it afterwards, because I see we don't have that much time left, if we will have the time for a Q&A especially. But the first one is your love language. And then the question is, if I want to show my partner affection, my preferred way of doing that is, and then you come with your answer. The other way is, I like it when my partner or my tank feels full when. And you can find these different things that you like to do or like to have your partner do for you that gives you the best response. If you're going to show your partner affection, what do you like to do? What's your preferred way of doing that? And then you can think like, okay, what kind of love language is this? But you don't have to think about that right now, but just write down some things. And if you're done with that, you can go to the next one, or just keep writing if you're not done. For your partners, if you want to take it a step further, my partner feels loved when I, and then in showing affection, my partner tends to. Just take a moment to write down a few, or at least begin to think about these. And feel free to share in the chat if you wish. We would love that. And then once you've written down some, you can ask, which love language is this? If you do it on a paper, you can like write like PT for physical touch, QT, quality time, WOA, words of affirmation, RG would be receiving gifts, and then AOS would be acts of service. And this is a really good exercise to do, to just begin the thought process of, okay, what is my love language and what is my partner's? And just like on the, I need to go back a bit then, on the test score, on this one, was a bit faster, on this one, you will end up with not necessarily just one, but there is one that is going to stick out for you for sure. But maybe you have two that are almost the same on the top there. Let's see what the next one is. Yeah, that was actually the last slide. So feel free to just take a few more moments. If you have some questions, you can write them in the chat and we can take that. Maybe even unmute yourself if you wish. And Christine, feel free to add some more if you have some more you want to share.
Claudia just wrote in the chat, I need to have a with my side of the tank, and that she know more about him than about herself. And I hear that so often. That's the most common reason for being in a relationship, for people to feel loved, to get the love tank filled. So it's more important what the partner needs so that the partner stays. And when you have this kind of subconscious programming that you need someone else to show you that you are lovable and to show you are good enough and that you are intelligent and beautiful, then it's like we already talked about, like giving away the most amazing thing that you have. The power of how loved you are feeling in every single moment. And that's not a good basis for a relationship. It's always about yourself. And the relationship after the honeymoon phase will show you where you don't, yeah, out your blockages, or where you didn't see what is really going on in your subconscious programming. That's so important. Love languages are a game changer in a relationship, but they can really change the game when you start loving yourself like you love your partner.
Yeah, so a big part of this is also just opening those channels, opening up for receiving it as well, and recognizing the ways the important people in your life are already expressing love or appreciation or support to you in these various ways. Yeah, at the end, someone asked about the end. That was this one. There's a few links in here. You can just Google it as well, but both of these are in the 5 Love Languages website. But let's just run through the action steps before we go deeper on the questions. Start acting on the things you can do to fill your partner's love tank. Guide your partner to know how to fill yours. We mentioned these already. Go on a date that fills both of your tanks. Find a date that will overlap both of your most important love languages. Read a book or reach out to us to learn more. We're happy to help you. Both me and Christine offer coaching, so feel free to reach out. We're happy to help. Take the quiz. Download the app to further understand yours and your partner's love languages. There you can do the test on the app, and you can also love nudge on this app. You can get these ideas for dates or things you can do for your partner, really, and have these checklists, kind of like habits. You check these off every day. Do you see any questions you want to tackle, Christine? Maybe someone wants to unmute. If you want to come on, that's also a possibility. Or if you want to share something, feel free.
Susan wrote in the chat, need more advice to make foreplay last longer than 4 minutes. The word has broken the idea of what time should be.
Yeah, this one is interesting. And I would definitely go in for, oh yeah, thank you for being on, Lily. Lily needs to leave, yeah. Yeah, make it enjoyable. Maybe figure out your partner's love language and maybe find a way to incorporate that into the bedroom if possible. Maybe there's a way to do that, but definitely find a way to make it a win-win. I would go in for that. It's hard to say if I don't know you that well, but there are certainly ways you can go in for making it more enjoyable. And I find that it makes the main thing much better. So if both of you can get this experience, you can lead up to that, then it's definitely a good thing. Do you want to say something on that, Christine?
For us, it's working really well to have sex dates. So we just block the whole evening and we have no agenda, just space. Space for us, space for getting intimate with each other, but not with like, okay, we need to in 20 minutes, so let's fetch. So just really being with each other and yeah, exploring each other, because we recognize that when we give each other this space, it's like a journey. So you don't need to know where the destination is. You just go on a journey together, and you can new things. You can try new things, and it's fun. It's not like oh, we have to have sex again because one week is over like that. I don't know how other couples are doing that, but for us this sex dates is just giving ourselves space and focus, just 100% focus on each other, working really well. And also tantra. I don't know if someone heard about tantra or even practice it, because tantra is an amazing way of diving deeper into this category 13.
Yeah, and turn off your phones for crying out loud. Don't have them on. And think about it like this: the foreplay starts really early. Like it starts way, way, way before the foreplay you would think of as foreplay starts. Just think of it like this, because it's a long build-up, I would say. It's much better to think of it like this, because otherwise it would just be like it's so much easier to fall into thinking that um, my point is just have this build-up and you're conscious about this, and that would make it longer for sure, because when does it actually start? It's kind of hard to put a word to it, because you can't stretch it further back. Like, do you have to like be naked for the foreplay to start, right? So some things to just think about there. Was there any more questions? Anyone wants to unmute if you want to come on? I can stop sharing my screen. I think we covered most, actually. And one thing, yeah, there's different dialects to each language. It's worth mentioning that there's different dialects. So you could have the same love language, but it could be within different dialects. So that's good to keep in mind, but it's a bit beyond the time we have here to cover that. So just some things to keep in mind. Yeah. Do you want to have some closing words, Christine?
Yes, Susan wrote in the chat, how long did it take me to love myself or something like that? And that's a great question because when you go on this journey and you go deep, really deep, you find a lot of things, a lot of deep rooted beliefs that holding you back from loving yourself, really, unconditionally, just the way you are, with all that you are. And this journey is not like, okay, it takes 2 years, go for it. For me, it took one session to really discover the roots of these limiting self-love beliefs. This is the power of hypnosis, because you just get aware of why you think, why you feel like this. And when you get aware of things, you can change things, you can transform them. And that's really, really powerful. But hypnosis is just, for me, the most effective and yeah, fastest way of going deep and let go of everything that is holding you back, that is blocking you, that is limiting you. There are other ways, of course, and every single soul has their own journey. And for me, from my experience, self-love journey is the one that we are here on. So relationships and success and any kind of life experience are our teachers, are our guides to come back to our self-love. Because when you really fall in love with yourself, all the things in the outer world will line up like magic. Because you're vibrating on such a high frequency that you're drawing people and relationships and possibilities to you that is just showing you how beautiful you are, how lovable, how good enough. So use the love languages to love yourself. Use it to love anyone that you know, because this is how we change the world, through love. Loving ourselves, loving each other, trusting ourselves, trusting each other, seeing the good in people, seeing the good in ourselves. So when we do that, nice job, humanity. Choosing love over fear every single moment. That's a great way of closing words, I guess.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Mic drop, mic drop. Oh, exactly same time. That was so sick. Yeah, and maybe you're not used to having your love tank full. Maybe you're used to having your love tank like maybe like 4 out of 10 full. And then when you do these things, it fills up more. Maybe you meet some resistance there. And that's when it can be really interesting to apply these things that Christine is talking about. I'm a certified hypnotherapist as well. I don't use hypnosis that much, but more using the understanding of how the mind works. And I did a workshop earlier on letting go, very focused on letting go. So this is a really good tool to use there as well. Again, beyond the scope of this session right now, but definitely if you encounter something on that journey, do reach out or to someone else in the Lifebook community as well. We definitely want to support each other and help each other to make the best out of this and take these action steps with you and use it to improve your love relationship category. Like really, that's what we wanted for this event. This is why we made this. So hope you got a ton of value out of this. Thank you for being on. You're making such a good decision to come on and learn about this. It shows that you care about your love relationship, that you're happy in it, that your partner is happy. Such a good commitment with your time, like such a good use of your time. So I applaud you for that. And thank you so much for being on. Thank you for your engagement, your participation, and for showing full love, like Alex is saying. And awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, thank you for being on. Yeah, wonderful to have you on.
Bye bye, beautiful.
Love.
Love, love, love.
Let the love explode.
Yeah.
Okay, I will stop the recording.